Karsten Rosenkilde, Senior Portfolio Manager de Fixed Income de DWS. Good morning, Karsten.
Morning, Jose. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for having this time with us. What's the situation of fixed income today, especially in the current context?
Well, it's to put it mildly, it's been very difficult 5 months. We've had it good for a long time in fixed income, almost 3 decades. That has flipped completely now. Whether it will continue to be as bad for the next couple of months is debatable, I'd say. I think there are some signs that we may have seen inflation near the peak or maybe at the peak at the moment. So maybe things will improve. But of course, a lot will depend on what Mrs. Lagarde will say this afternoon.
How it may be affected by the current situation, by the current inflation?
How fixed income is affected by the current inflation?
Yeah.
Well, badly, obviously. It's not just the enormous or the height of the inflation or high level of inflation. It's also obviously the fact that the ECB is very likely to announce the end of the quantitative easing programs today, and that's not just the buying of government and corporate bonds, but it will also be other liquidity facilities such as the TLTROs that they have for the banks.
What does the WE expect from tomorrow for today ECB meeting?
Well, as I said, we and I think this has already been pre-announced. They will stop buying bonds. They will put an end to the liquidity facilities for the banks, the TLTROs, and we can expect maybe 25 basis points. There are some people who are talking about a 50 basis point hike. I think that's unlikely, but it will kick off today. If you look at the fixed income market, the government bond market, towards the end of the year, already at least 10 rate hikes are priced in. So that there is, it's almost inevitable. And to be honest, inflation is a terrible thing. It's a social unjust thing. And whether the ECB can do anything about supply side inflation is questionable, but they do have to send a signal that they are going to try and stop consumption, or at least slow consumption and hopefully slow inflation.
What can the future hold for us from now on?
Again, sorry?
Yes, what can the future hold for us from now?
What the future will hold from now on? Very, very good question. I mean, there is very little visibility. We've got a war. We've just come through a pandemic. We've got this whole supply side disruptions, 40-year high inflation. I wish I could give you a good answer, but I mean, there are some signs that are pointing, or at least some deflationary effects appearing at the moment. If you look at the inventory builds up at big retailers in America, that is definitely a sign that people are slowing their consumption a little bit. You've got excess saving, but that is for the top quartile, for the big earners. They do not care that much about price increases, but the rest, the other 75–80%, they will start to slow down their consumption. That's a given. So there are some forces pulling in the other direction, and I think we will start to see that come through. So maybe this deflation, or rather inflation, is not going to be around as long as we could have feared. Of course, a recession is not a pleasant thought either, but we are starting to see some deflationary effects in the economy.
What are the prospects for the second half of the year?
I think as we have already priced in a lot of bad news, a lot of rate hikes, as I mentioned before. I think there is reason to believe that parts of fixed income may have turned a corner here. But at the moment, as said, visibility is very low. And that is why the market is so cautious at the moment. At least it looks like COVID lockdowns are behind us, also to a degree in China. That should ease the supply chain situation. Let's see, the war is very important. If we get some kind of solution to the war, it would be very, very good for inflation, for the well-being of Ukraine and Russia as well. But I think things will start to look brighter come maybe Q4. But as said, it pays to be very cautious at the moment, simply because of the lack of visibility.
Thank you very much, Karsten Rosenkilde, Senior Portfolio Manager, Fixed Income, DWS. Thank you very much. Good day, good business.
Yeah, thank you. You too. Bye.